You're sitting down at your desk, looking at a blank screen and think to yourself, what should I write in my Instagram caption? In this video, you will learn 10 tips to writing a killer Instagram caption that increases likes, comments, and sales. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin. I help new and relatively new online coaches to clarify their offer and attract their first couple of paying clients. Thinking up new, exciting, and engaging captions can be the worst. Sometimes it takes hours, and even then, you might only have created a couple of posts. And it's enough to drive you insane, but it shouldn't be so difficult. In fact, I've put together 10 easy to follow caption writing tips and formulas for you to start using today. These tips are designed to save those precious hours while increasing your engagement rate. I use these exact tips all the time in my content and in my videos to get more likes, comments, and sales. But before we start, I have a special surprise for you. My good friend Dr. Marc is sharing 5 of these tips with you here in a second. Marc is a nutrition coach and educator with a ton of experience running successful coaching businesses. Now he gives people passionate about health and fitness the tools and knowledge they need to help people and make money. Marc, I'm excited to have you on my channel. Let's go.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Robin. I'm pumped to be on your channel. Let's dive right into it with tip number 1, get people engaging with the call to action sandwich. Marketing experts have long argued about the best way to present your content to get paying clients on Instagram. But one thing that everyone can agree on is using calls to action or CTAs. A call to action is what you, the coach and authority, uses to move people to the next step. And if I want you to take anything away from this video, is that people need to be led. You need to tell them what to do next. When you don't, not only do you miss out on a massive opportunity to build authority, which is what people want to see from you, their coach, is you being one step ahead. But when you don't lead them and directly tell them, people just don't do anything. The best way to do this in your writing is to use something I like to call the call to action sandwich. There are 4 main ways of engaging on a platform like Instagram. They are liking, commenting, sharing, and saving. The more you can get people to engage, the more likely it is that your content will be seen. So it's important to ask people to engage in these ways. How do we do this? By telling them. And here's how I do it using the call to action sandwich. In the first line, you'll use a soft call to action. Think about the mechanics for Instagram for a second. When people are scrolling down their feed, when they see your content, they also see that first line of your caption. It's not a bad idea to use this first line to prompt them to do something, like or save. Those are two of the smartest things because it doesn't prompt them to leave the page or not continue on reading. So a few examples of what this would look like this. Double tap if this hits home, or like if you agree, or even save this post for later. This will get people engaging right off the bat. Then we can elaborate on the message and go further in the second line. Here's where you can work in a personal detail, or highlight a transformation related to the content, or a testimonial about a client you work with. Then we complete the sandwich using another call to action. This time, since you've already written a compelling story, we can use a harder call to action. And this is where people need to be led. We wrap it all up by giving them the next step. Tell them to comment below if something about the post resonated with them, or if they want to achieve something similar, tell them to apply through the link in your bio. And that's the call to action sandwich. Start using it, guys, get people engaging, and that's the call to action sandwich. Use this strategy and caption template to get people engaging, and you're gonna see a boost in your engagement and also your sales. And now moving on to tip 2, the content is already all around you. Okay, so now you have an example on how to structure what you write, but what happens if you're struggling with coming up with ideas of what to talk about? For most of us, the stories are already all around us, we just need to look for them. If you're just starting out, you might not believe this, but people are already looking for you as their inspiration for their health and nutrition info. You are already this person, and even if these people don't pay you, you've probably helped them, right? What type of questions do these people ask you? This is what should guide your social media content and where you're gonna get all of your inspiration from. See, most coaches create content for themselves, not the people they're trying to attract. So you wanna put yourself in their shoes when you're creating content. Ask yourself questions like this. What is one thing you wish you would have known before starting your fitness journey? What are 1 or 2 of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to get blank? One major thing that makes this blank sort of plan more effective? What a potential client said to you and why they need to think about it differently? The stories and things you need to tell and share are already all around you. You just need to look to find them, and you're gonna connect much better to the people around you that need your help. Tip number 3, if you want X without Y, then you need to Z. Here's the most simple formula for setting up any type of offer, but especially a caption. I call it the simple caption formula. And here's how it goes. If you want X without Y, then you need to Z. In this case, X equals the benefit. What makes you different or unique, Y is the offer. And the next step is Z, which is the call to action. It sounds simple, but don't let the simplicity fool you. It is incredibly effective. Let's break this down. X is the desired benefit. Remember, your clients really only care about results, not how they get there. When we start with this, we immediately get their attention. And the more specific you can be, the better. Does this type of client simply want to lose weight, or do they want to lose that last 8 pounds? Then we move to the next part, why. what makes you different? Nothing draws people in more than being different. We need to start thinking what sets you apart from every other coach out there. Do you do things differently that would be appealing to a client? Or do you have a track record so strong that clients won't be wasting any time? Again, the more specific we can get, the more likely we are to draw in that perfect fit client. And then Z, lastly, the call to action. Direct them on how to work with you next. An application here usually works best, and this shows authority and clarity on what to do next. Here's an example of this. My clients work with busy moms that have multiple kids, but they also want to lose weight. But they don't want to just lose weight. They also want to tone up and feel like themselves again. They want to find the motivation again to feel like they did before they had kids. She's found on average that they want to lose around 20 pounds, but they don't want to give up some of their favorite things, which in this case are drinking wine with their besties on Friday night or eating popcorn with their kids. So how do we capture this in a simple caption formula? I'm looking for 3 busy moms who want to lose 20 pounds so they can feel like they did before they had kids without giving up wine or popcorn. If this sounds like you, DM me the words "I'm ready" and I'll send you over next steps. Then get ready for the "Are you in my head" messages to start. Use this simple formula to guide the structure of your offer. And tip number 4, stretch your content further. Creating social media content can be a lot of work, but the key to being more active on your social media platforms isn't doing more work and working harder, it's actually being smarter. Let's start doing exactly that by learning to stretch your content further so you can be twice as active on Instagram in half the time. First of all, it's never a bad idea to validate your idea before you create it. But how do we do that? By asking people if they actually want things and then gauging the response. Let's say, for example, people keep asking you, I know I need to eat more protein, but I just don't know how to get more in. Since you have your listening ears on, you'll be realizing that people are asking you about it, and therefore would make really good social media content that people are interested in. You could spend a bunch of time creating the perfect post about it, or you could create 3 pieces of social media content out of the exact same idea. Here's what I would do. Number 1, first I would go on my stories and say, a lot of you have been asking about easy ways to get more protein in. If I created a post or a resource on this, would that be something you're interested in? You could make it something like a yes or no poll. Then when people start responding, you can screenshot everyone that said yes. Since people are engaging in your stuff, you could reach out to them directly and say if there's anything specific you want addressed in that content. Now you're creating content directly for them. Number 2, if the post idea was validated, meaning that people voted on it and they wanted, I would create a still post around that. You can make it simple and straightforward, like the 6 most simple foods to eat to get in more protein. Then once I posted that, I would send that directly to the people that were interested in it. In a few days, I would follow up with them and ask them what they thought about the post and if it actually helped them take action. Then lastly, from the feedback you got on that post, I would start to create more content from it. You could take screenshots of these responses, particularly any that were really impactful, and then create a new post out of that, directing people back to the original post. So now from one idea, we have unlimited forms of content. Make your ideas go further by stretching them out and getting more people involved. And tip number 5, repurposing and reusing content. Don't be fooled by thinking you can only post about a topic once. If anything, your nutrition coaching business should be built around a few key pillars that you talk about all the time. Things like who's it for, what results do you help them achieve, stuff like that. From the stuff that you're posting, make sure that you have some sort of call to action on everything. Depending on what you're asking people to do, like if you're asking them to like it, save it, share it, comment below, or apply, which will give you like clicks, you want to measure what is working and leading people to the next step. If they do what you're asking them, you have validation around that they're listening and they're watching for the next step. This is powerful. It means that it's good content. And the key here is to recreate that stuff. For example, you could turn the strongest point in a carousel type of post and turn it into a Twitter post. If you go to my social media and pull like my Twitter style posts, and like a carousel post, something like that. Take a before and after picture with a powerful story and just use the after picture with part of the quote. The key here is not to reinvent the wheel. You want to take the stuff that's working and make different versions of it. You don't have to work harder to grow your online nutrition coaching business. Use these strategies to work smarter and watch your business grow month after month.